So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a SchoolWires page and update it. So if you haven't yet heard of the infamous SchoolWires that you'll be required to maintain throughout your career with Lamar County School District, you'll need to make sure that you become aware of that and familiar. You will need to, regularly update that so that when parents and students alike access it, they'll be able to view the requirements and expectations that they're going to have to maintain throughout the course and duration that they're with you in the classroom. Okay, so let's take a look at the page.
So the first thing that you want to do is access Lamar County Schools webpage, www.lamarcountyschools.org. From here, you'll need to actually go to your page. In order to do that, in the upper left-hand corner, you've got this drop-down menu, and you'll need to drop that down and find the actual school that you teach at. For instance, let's go to the Oak Grove High School page, and on the right-hand side at the top tab, it says Teachers. You'll click on that, and then you'll just find your name amongst the teachers in this list. So for instance, if I click on Paige Russum, this would be her page. So from here, that's where you will click on the sign in button. There's multiple ways you can do this. This is just one of them. But you need to probably access your page before you begin to get into the site manager, which I'll show you in a second. So for me, my information, I'm going to go back to the actual Lamar County School District since I'm in a different department. I'm not in a teacher category. So for me, I've got to go to Technology, and then Instructional Technologist, and then Tammy Pigott. So this is my page. So then I'm going to go into click on the sign on, and I'll type in my username, which is tammy.pigott. Everyone's is their first last name. A lot of people try to put their email address here. If you unsuccessfully log in 3 times, I believe it will lock your account, so you really want to be careful here. Once you put in your password, if you have not gotten it after the second try, I would suggest you click on the forgot password. It will re-email you your username and password so that hopefully you'll be successful the 3rd time so that you don't lock your account out. So we'll sign in, and this is what it looks like. So nothing has really changed. What you then have to do is you're just viewing your website like other viewers would look at it. You click on the Site Manager tab at the upper left-hand corner. Once you click on that, this is where you will actually be seeing kind of your display that you'll be working with to actually edit your pages. So there's some different setups that I'm going to show you how to utilize. The first page that you're looking at is all of the tabs that will be on your left hand side. So for instance, over here you can see they kind of correlate. I've got my welcome, my digital movie creations, YouTube tutorials. So these are the tabs that parents and students will see on the left hand side of the page. Now, one thing that we ask the teachers to maintain is that if you do not have anything on one of these pages, for instance, if I was to click in, or a parent was to click in board help, or whatever yours had, homework or calendar, if it's an empty page and there's nothing on it, please don't leave that up on your site until you actually add something in it, because it just doesn't look really good when you have these tabs over here, students are clicking on them and nothing pops up. So in order to make a page to where it's no longer seen, you just click on where it says this green activate, you'll click on inactive. When you click on it, it'll turn inactive, so that way I'll go to this view website, and anytime you want to see what other views are seeing, I'll go to view website, and it'll now show that this tab is no longer available for people to click on. So they're not clicking on an empty tab. So that's really important that you keep that updated so it doesn't look like, you're not doing what you're supposed to with your page. So I'm going to go ahead and make that back active because I do utilize that. So now you have some preset pages. If you've never worked in here before, if it's your first time getting into SchoolWires, you'll have some preset pages that you'll be able to work with. So from here, what you'll need to do is you can click on those and see what you would like to keep or get rid of. The welcome page is always pretty easy to set up. However, when I start a new page, let's say I wanted to add a new thing of tips for teachers. So I want to add a new page. You'll get this whole list of different items, okay? And I'll be honest, many of these get some detailed, podcasting and wikis and things of that nature that you may not use. So in this video, I'm going to just show you some of the very, very basic pages that you can utilize. But the one that I suggest, especially if you're a first-time user, is this Flex Page default. The Flex Page is basically going to be what you're used to in an email or a basic Word document. So that's going to be your kind of go-to page when you're setting up anything. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to make me name the page. So this is going to be one of the names of the tabs that's on the left-hand side of your screen. So I'm going to call this Tips for Teachers, if I could spell. Okay. So tips for teachers, and you'll notice it now pop up. So this will be, when I go to view website, this will be a new tab that pops up that can be new tips for teachers. Okay, so now to go in to edit this page, you can come over here to actions and drop down this action bar. If you wanted to rename this, you could click on page options and it would let me name this tips for teachers 2, or whatever you wanted to change this. You've got some different options like hide the page from website navigation, display duration, nothing that I would suggest you get too detailed in, but that's an option if you need it. You can see it, change it to tips for teachers 2. You can edit page link, you can copy page, move page, delete page, all these different options. So I'm going to click on tips for teachers, and this is what you're going to view if the Flex editor is the only page that you've got open. Now you'll have other pages that you have options for. You can have Twitter feeds, you can have like I said, wikis and blogs, and you can have calendars and all these different things on the same page, but right now all we put is that Flex editor app. So it's the only thing on this page entitled tips for teachers 2. So this is where you've got your basics, just like Word document. You've got your text, the styles that you want, how large, the font style here, the size you can work with. You can change the color of the text if you'd like to make it a little bit more appealing. One thing I do notice is that teachers will type in this with the very basic font. That is very hard to see. For instance, they'll leave it on a preset 1, which is something like, the Times New Roman, I think it was Arial. They'll leave it plain old black, and then they'll make it, its default is pretty tiny. So with this, and it's not wanting to change for me, but with this, that's something that you definitely don't want parents to see, something when they pull up a web page and it be teeny tiny like this. Okay, it's just a little bit more easier to read. So, be aware of this 10-point font and make it something a little larger so that, parents and students will be able to easily read it. Okay, so that's the basic things there. You've got your highlighter tool, your bold, italicize, underline. You can have this left justified, centered. Okay, so again, basics that you already, I would assume, kind of know how to utilize. Now, this bottom section may be more what you're, maybe not used to. So what I'm going to show you here is you've got over here where you can insert a picture. So if you actually want them to see an image and not click on it and open an image, it'll be right here. You can click on this and you have some different options. You can have something that you've already shared an image, but I'm going to upload one from my computer, and then I've got browse. So this is a picture maybe I've already Google searched and found. So I'll just have to go and find where I've saved this picture, and I've got some tech pics here. Now you can go in and save things that are what are called GIF files, this .gif. Those are moving animated files. So those are the ones, if you've seen someone's page, those are the moving ones. So for instance, this little guy here, when I click on him and then I hit continue, you'll see in the preview mode right here, you'll see him moving. So he's kind of a moving GIF. He's really large. So I probably don't want him that large. He'll kind of overtake my page. So what I can do here is change the height of him. So let's say I want him maybe about half that size. So I'm going to type in 300. Once I click off that, the width should automatically change here to make him where he's a little bit more viewable, so he doesn't look as distorted. So again, that's just something you can play with there if you'd like to. And then it's going to make me name him. So I'll just call him Little Robot. Okay, so then I click on insert image, and then you should now see him inserted into my page. Okay, so from here you've also got an attachment. Let's say next to him I wanted to make a link that was an attachment to some sort of file. Okay, so again, you click on it. You can just upload from your computer if you've already got this document saved on your desktop, let's say. I've got this Aver Plus that's on my desktop. It's just a document that's, got some pictures and some words. It's a PDF. So I click on it and hit continue. And whatever I want, this will be the blue link that people actually see. So let's say I'll name it Aver Help. Okay, so I'll insert that file, and then put it down here where people can click on it and it will automatically open up that document for them. So you also have where you can add in a media file if you had an Adobe Flash movie that you created, a YouTube video, you could kind of insert them in there. You've got here where you can make some bookmarks. I can insert a link, like let's say I wanted to go to a web page. Let's see what I've got open right now. I just hit enter so I can scroll down. Let me see. Okay, let's say that I wanted to go to, I don't know, I wanted them to be able to connect to Google easily. So you've got your Google website here, and let's say I just want them to easily go to google.com, and that'd be a link. Okay, so you'll just copy that web address and you'll go back to your page editor, which is down here. Okay, and then I'll connect and click on the link. So I'm going to say this is a web address. You can add an email address, you can add your website here, but this is a web address that I wanted to click on. So I'll just paste this into that web address, the google.com, and then I click on insert link. And there it is. So they've got the link that they then can click on. So this is the document. They can click on it and have access to that AVER help document. This is the link to a Google. Okay, sorry about that. So from here you've got your different links. You've got some tables and different items that you'll be able to add in here, and these are some pretty nifty tools. A lot of people can't get things to line up. If you're trying to do a list on your page, I would definitely suggest you create one of these tables. For instance, I hit enter and I just scroll down here. Let's say I want to insert a table, and maybe I want it to have, I don't know, 3 rows and 3 columns. So you just highlight however many rows that you want it, or let's say a 3x5 table. Okay, so once we insert it, you're able to scroll down and you'll be able to actually click on your table that's in here, and you'll be able to call this, you know, whatever topics that you want, the names of your students, that maybe you want to put the emails. You definitely want to put their emails on this page, but you know, I'm just kind of trying to give you an idea. So maybe names of students, you could say different courses that are available, tools that you could have available for those different courses, and you know, you kind of get an idea. You can have some different information in each one of these categories. So a lot of people complain about, you know, their font and format gets messed up when they insert it in here and it no longer looks like a list. Well, if you just create a table, then you've automatically got a list that's created for you. You can even, within each one of these little categories, you can insert an image or anything, links that you would like in there as well. So I can insert another little image inside the table itself. So let's go with this Mac, and then hit continue. I'll have to name it, and then let's say I want to make it a little bit smaller, so maybe let's like 100, and then you can see how small it is, and I'll hit insert image, and you can see I can even insert a picture inside this table. So the table tool is very useful. Let's say I wanted this column to be larger or smaller. I can click on the table options here, and you've got some different options in these 3 buttons, and this could be the size, the width, and you could just type it in and kind of play with these numbers to make it work for you. Okay, so this is the basics of a flex page. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and then I'll go ahead and hit view website so that you can see what the page over here, this tips for teachers that we just created. So here's the teachers will type, and I got my little robot man, and I can click on the AVER help document, and when I click on that, it'll pull up the document that I had on the AVER help. And then also, let's go back to it. Oh, I X'd out of it. Okay. And then from there, we've got some different options that we utilized in the tips for teachers. I had what else on here? Okay. So this was my first page. I got to go back to tips for teachers. Okay, so from here you can also see the columns that we created of the names, the picture that went in that column, the courses, the tools. You can see the link for Google. So everything that we added in here is on the page. So I showed you a couple little basic tips just to kind of get your template started. If you need any help, let me know, and I will be happy to get with you.